Okay, so we say congratulations to PWHL New York for clinching the gold plan. Huge congratulations. Very well done. So yeah, so I'll just remind you about the gold plan. So the gold plan was introduced by the PWHL as a brilliant way to get rid of what we call tanking. Oh my god, I hate tanking with a fiery passion. I so hate it. And the last few years, it's become quite dominant actually in the last few years in the AHL. Some people have been making quite bring it on. Some people would do tank watching. I'm sorry, but if you do tank watching, you're not a true hockey fan. I do not watch hockey to care to give a flying duck about tanking. Alright? No. Alright? So if you are the kind of hockey fans that just care about tanking, then this is not the sport for you. Okay? So the PWHL had a brilliant plan to get rid of tanking and to still find a way to make every single game meaningful, whether you are still in playoff contention or not. So, when the PWHL, when a team gets mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, all the remaining points in their games get converted towards points for the gold plan. And whoever has the most gold plan points at the end of the regular season will get the honour to select first in the PWHL draft. So, yes, so what a prize that is, eh? There you go. And I absolutely loved this plan. I thought it was absolutely a brilliant plan. It's just one problem. Okay. There's just one problem with this plan. Because of how competitive the PWHL has been in its inaugural season, the gold plan wasn't able to be as effective as we would have liked it to have been. Because the playoff races, and this is partly thanks to our slide after the international championship break, the playoff races have been so tight and literally went right down to the last day of the regular season. Really, that gold plan was pretty much New York signed, sealed, and delivered a long time ago. So yeah, but I did think maybe Ottawa's going to compete with them for it, but yeah. But yeah, so New York won it, no contest. So I'll go through the draft order. So I'll go through the points and all that. So New York in the end got 6. In fact, they're the only ones on the sheet to actually have some draft order points. No one else has got it. They got 6 draft order points in total. So New York were eliminated on the 24th of April 2024. They played 3 games since their elimination. And their record since elimination was 2-0-0-1. 2 wins. No OT wins. No shootout wins. No OTLs. No SOLs. 1 regulation loss. Clear up for you guys there. Yeah, so yeah. And everything else, nothing. Nothing. No stats for anything else on the draft order. On the goal plan. So, yeah. So there you go. So New York gets to select first overall in the PWHL draft. And then obviously the rest of the teams, it's reversed, or it's the standings in the league, but reverse order. So it's Ottawa, Minnesota, then Boston. It's because of Boston. I know I was having the same amount of points. Ottawa, then it's us, then it's Boston, then Montreal, and finally Toronto. That's the draft order. Yeah. So, I loved this goal plan. It was I remember at the time when it was announced, thinking, "Oh my god, this is brilliant! This is absolutely amazing! This is an absolute, and it's just another brilliant way that the PWHL is saying, look at me, I am different to all the other hockey leagues, okay? Because that is basically what the PWHL has been about this season. It's basically saying, look at us, look at what we're doing, and all these things that you do not see in the big boys leagues. You don't see that. And that's what I've been loving for PWHL. We've been bringing out new things that just work absolutely better. That's basic. Yes, I was all for it, because for me, I cannot stand tanking. I really cannot. I just cannot stand tanking. I really, really do not like it. So for me, when the PHL announced this, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. So yeah, so New York was the only team that got mass masculinity beforehand, so it pretty much was theirs, locked in, wrapped, sealed, and delivered. Would have got with a gold stamp. It'd be interesting to see who New York will take first in the draft in Minnesota. Currently, Sarah Filler is the anticipated top pick. The 28-year-old forward secured 30 goals and 43 points in 29 games this season at Princeton University. She's been a regular with Team Canada since 2021. Has 17 goals and 31 points in 28 contests over 4 World Championships, plus an MVP award at the 2023 event. She also tallied 8 goals and 11 points in 7 games in her Olympic debut in Beijing. And the Georgetown, Ontario native declared for the PHL draft on April the 18th. So we'll have to see if that's who New York will want to take first overall. Mind you that in this year's draft, it's no snake draft. It's a set order. So New York has got the first pick for every single round in this draft. So 7 rounds, and you have number 1 pick in all of them. Ottawa, 2nd pick in all of them. Minnesota, 3rd pick in all of them. Boston, 4th pick in all of them. Montreal, 5th pick in all of them. Toronto, last pick in all of them. So maybe chasing number 1 seed in the league wasn't worth it now, was it, Toronto? No! 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 So that's something to bear in mind for next season. Don't try and chase number 1 seed in the league, because you'll end up going last in the draft come 2025. Since that So maybe that slide we had maybe worked in our favour after all, because look where we are. Third in the draft order, and World Cup champions! I know, but we don't brag. Not bragging. Not bragging. Plus, the end of the season blues have kicked in literally the day after we got the championship. That's really much celebration. Anywho, back to New York though. Back to New York. I am really pleased for them, because it's interesting. I mean, New York had a really, really tough first season in this league. I mean, if you look at the overall standings, in fact, I'll bring them up in a minute. Yeah. If you look at the league standings, which I'm going to do now. Yes. So if you look at the league standings, you see that with 1st to 5th, it's quite tight. Just 6 points separated Toronto and Montreal. 6 points separated Montreal from us and Boston. And only 3 points separated Ottawa from us and Boston for that last spot in the World Cup playoffs. So New York is the one that's kind of adrift the most. They got 26 points overall. Despite getting the same combined number of wins as Ottawa, both Ottawa and New York had combined 9 wins in total. It's just New York had more in extra sessions, while Ottawa had more in regulation. And unfortunately for New York, the reason why they're so low on the points tally is simply the case of the regulation losses. New York had 12 regulation losses in total. Which is interesting because if you look at it again with Ottawa, Ottawa had 6 in overtime, 9 in regulation. Now, if you combine those together, that's also 15. So both Ottawa and New York have the same number of wins combined and the same number of losses combined. So the difference between New York and Ottawa, where they are, is regulation losses for New York are more than Ottawa. And of course, as we all know in the point system, a regulation loss means you get nothing. Zip. Nada. Nil plot. Whatever metaphor you are used. You get nothing for losing in regulation. Whereas you do get something if the game goes beyond regulation. You're guaranteed at least 1 point. And that 1 point can make all the difference when it comes to the standings. So yeah. So the reason why New York is so adrift compared to the rest of the league is because New York suffered the most regulation losses in the season. So I'm hoping for New York next year, that's something they'll be able to work on, is bringing that number of regulation losses down. Because compared to the rest of the league, everybody else is all in double figures. So yeah, you got Toronto 7, Montreal 6, and everybody else 9. So New York is the only one that's got regulation losses in double figures. So if I was New York, I'm thinking that's an area I would want to work on next year, is getting that number down. Or if you're going to lose, do it in overtime or a shootout, that way you get something rather than nothing. Yeah, it has been a torrid season for New York. You know, given at one point they actually were in the mix, in the conversation. That's what's been really great about this inaugural season. Everybody at one point has been in the conversation for a playoff spot. It's just come down to when it got to that nitty gritty, who wanted it the most, and those that got it did. But New York ended brilliantly. They won big in their last 2 games, including one against us. So yeah, and I think New York, you look at those teams towards the end of the season, you thought, oh, if they had 5 more games, who knows what will happen. And of course, obviously next year the number of games will go up to at least 6, maybe 8. Well, we need to wait and see about that. So we'll see how that theory gets tested next season. Yeah, it hasn't been great for New York. You know, they are the team that got that scored the least amount of goals in the PWHL 53, and they've also the team that gave up the most goals on 67. But there is some areas of success for New York, particularly in the special teams department. Now, if you look at the special teams department in the regular season, okay. If you look at the special teams department in the regular season, but if you look at the power play first, then we'll do the penalty kill. If you look at the power play, you see that New York ranked 2nd in the league on 24.4%. Only ahead of them was Ottawa on 25%. So yeah, so look at that. New York, 2nd. So I believe, isn't it, that we lost the top 2 power play teams in the playoffs. They didn't qualify. Shocking, eh? Yeah, so that's soon to celebrate. And then look at the penalty kill. Right? Look, he then move on to look at it from the penalty kill point of view. Look at that. New York again, 2nd with 88.6%. Just ahead of on 91.8% was of course Toronto. Yeah, so New York 2nd in both special teams departments. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's really good. Absolutely brilliant there to see. So special teams have actually been quite a success for New York this year. So I'm hoping to see that just continue maybe for New York next season. Just continue those special teams. That's an area that New York doesn't need to work on. It's more regulation wins and losses they need to work on, if anything. So yeah. But so it was not great for New York. Just not great in terms of the red regulation. Yeah, because they got those losses. But the shine spot for them was their penalty kill and their power play. Great work, special teams there. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so hopefully with New York getting to have the first number pick in every round, I'm hoping, and I did cover the draft, the draft show. We talked about details about the draft. I did highlight New York as one of the teams that I expect to see a big improvement going into next season. They've got the #1 pick in every single round, so there should be no excuses for New York not to be able to draft top class quality players. So, well, hopefully New York will see a lot of difference, because look at where it got us. Look where it got us. So, yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So there's not much more I can say. There you go. So yeah. So New York got the goal plan. There's never really any doubt they weren't going to get the goal plan. Just because the playoff races literally went right down to the wire, and that's partly our fault because we had that skid. You know, we lost our last 5 remaining games after the championship break or regulation. So, and we only needed after the championship when we came out of the championship break, we only needed Minnesota. We only needed 1 more point to seal the deal and book our spot in the playoffs. And yet, no, we made things very, very interesting, which is probably why there wasn't much competition when it came to the goal plan. I think the goal plan might be ahead of its time. Because right now, when you have only 6 teams, you're going to get competitiveness year in, year out. You're not going to see teams blow out the water, people out the water. You know, you're going to see this competitiveness year in, year out, while we stay at this original 6. When we expand, now, not to say we do that right now, okay, let's grow this league first, let's get everything right first, and then we'll talk expansion. But when we do expand to, say, I don't know, 8 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, that's when you might see the goal plan more effective. Because with more teams in the league, it's easier for those who are not going to make the playoffs to be mathematically eliminated earlier in the run, and that will make the goal plan a bit more competitive, but more efficient and work better. But when you've got only 6, it's hard right now for a brilliant idea like the goal plan to really be effective, because the playoff race, you know, they're just going to go right down to the wire. So, now part of that was our fault, because really it should have been a conversation between New York, Ottawa and Boston for the goal plan. We should not have made this interesting. But, hey ho. But I've loved how competitive this league has been from day 1 right away through to when the World Cup was hoisted by our Minnesota. Yeah. But the goal plan thing is a bit ahead of its time. But let's see how it goes. I think the goal plan is great. It's a great idea. It's a great initiative. We just need a few more teams in the league to properly see it come to that. That's what I'm doing. But congratulations to PWHL New York on winning the goal plan, which means you have earned the right to pick first in every single round at the 2024 PWHL Draft, which will be held right here in Minnesota on June the 10th.